Splatoon 3 is a fun shooter game by Nintendo, mostly made for kids, with loads of content compared to the other games in its series. And almost 2.5 years later, it almost feels the same. No big new content, no third kits, and less interest from players. So let's try to figure out why Nintendo doesn't want to add new content. Now don't get me wrong, there has been new content added to the game with new weapons, maps and songs. But in previous games in the series, the same stuff was added. In Splatoon 2 for example, we got 3 new modes: X-Rank, Clan Blitz and most important to the player base, Salmon Run, and a lot of other quality of life stuff. And what has Splatoon 3 brought in new stuff to the series? Table Turf, a mode which nobody plays or even remembers, King Salmonids, which are actually kinda cool but give horrible rewards, Tricolor Turf War, a mode locked to Splatfests and one that nobody really understands, and Lockers, an area of the game you look deeply into once and then never again. Now Splatoon 3 has also added some quality of life stuff, like the Squid Search and Roll, a training room doing battle queues and recon mode. But those little features just aren't enough. The fanbase wants bigger content, like a new mode, third kits and more permanent content in general. And if you've kept up with the game news in the last year or so, you will have noticed a lot of limited time events in the game. Just so you know how many limited events exist in Splatoon 3, I'm gonna list them all, and it's gonna take a minute, so stick with me. The limited events in Splatoon 3 are Splatfests of all kind, that includes the Grand Fest, catalogs, although they come back now, extra work, big runs, that includes the big run, challenges, and technically the map rotations are also limited time. And to add on to that, some of those limited time things are very limited. Like challenges, they only happen once a month for around 10 hours. Extra work happens only once a season, but at least that one is around for 2 to 3 days. I think you get the picture. Nintendo lost limited time stuff, just so they can pull their players back to the game. I need to calm down, this is turning into a rant, but I hope you get it. So now that we know why Nintendo doesn't add new permanent content, let's talk about them not adding third kits now. Now this might have a reasonable explanation, which I'll talk about later, but that doesn't really excuse them not even talking about them, for example. When the King Cup happened in December, everybody thought they would announce something about third kits when Egoist won. But no, they didn't even talk about it, and since then nothing was even mentioned about third kits. But let's get into the reason why they might not add third kits on the Switch 1. As you know, the Switch 2 got announced, so the developers might focus on the next game, or at least a deluxe-like version of Splatoon 3 for the Switch 2. So we can still hope for new content on the Switch 2 for Splatoon 3, but still not even a little announcement informing us about third kits is kinda messed up. And the last point I have about Splatoon having failed potential is players losing interest. And this point kinda laps over with the previous points, but a big reason players lost and are losing interest in Splatoon 3 is the big lack of new content and just having to grind so much stuff to play. Because having to grind the catalog of Splatfest titles just to get little rewards like locker stuff and super sea snails is just kinda boring and not fun. I started noticing the lack of interest especially after Grandfest. I've seen a lot of posts on TikTok and Reddit saying that they have just played very little after Grandfest because of lack of motivation. And I have to kinda agree, I have also lost kinda interest in the game after Grandfest because there's just no new stuff to do. Splatoon 3 is a fun game that I enjoy playing. I want to play it more, it's just kinda boring right now. So let's just hope my theory of having more content on the Switch 2 is correct. But anyway, if you want more content, tell me what that is in the comments. And like and subscribe while you're at it, if you enjoyed the video. And if you want more content from me, you can check out my shorts and my last video. One of my last shorts actually is about third kits potentially being on the Switch 2. Anyway, I hope you still have a fantastic day or night.